Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video, and we got part 2 to the Galaxy Nexus versus iPhone 4S. Right, so let's keep it going. Next category, we got lag factor. Alright, now what is lag? If you don't know what lag is when you go to scroll on your phone, does it automatically move, or do you swipe your finger and then it moves a second later? So does your phone move smoothly? When you click on something, does it go right to it, or does it take a couple of seconds to register and then go through it? Or when you're using an app and you hit back or you hit home, does it take a minute to get back home? That's lag, when your phone is lagging around, when it's going slow. So which phone has a better lag factor? The Nexus or the iPhone? Gotta keep it 100 with y'all. I'm going with the iPhone. Now, I've had every iPhone that's been out since day one. A lot of dudes think that, because I like Android, that, I haven't been rocking with iPhones, but I've had every iPhone since day one. And I gotta keep it real with y'all. iPhones, they just don't lag. Okay, these iPhones don't lag at all. This phone has zero lag to it, zero. And it never lags. Now, we're not talking about force closing and all that, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't notice, but the iPhone force closes a lot. But when it comes to the just straight up lag factor, no lag at all. Let's see if I can get a quick demonstration. Let's open up something like, let's open Shazam. Okay, so we might be rocking Shazam. When I hit the home button, the phone is going right back home. Open the clock, it's going right back home. Open the calendar, going right back home. Swiping, no lag at all, ever. Now let's take a look at the Nexus. Okay, so far no lag. Now keep in mind the Nexus does lag a little bit at times, but whatever. Okay, so we hit the Google Plus, let's take it back home. Okay, looks good. Let's hit Shazam. Take it back home. Now, it's working pretty good right now, but trust me when I tell you, fellas, the Galaxy Nexus does lag out here and there. Not a lot, not enough that I would say, okay, this phone lags, like the Motorola Photon. That was a laggy phone. This is not a laggy phone, but if you got a lot of apps open at once, this phone will lag out on you here and there. So when it comes to the lag factor, iPhone 4S hands down, no lag, no hiccups, nothing. This phone runs smooth like silk, all right? iPhone 4S when it comes to the lag factor. Next category, customization. Now this is an important category because when you got your phone is something that you're gonna have with you all day long. Depends what kind of work you do, or what kind of stuff you into. You're gonna be using your phone a good part of the day. Now you go out and spend $500 on the phone. You want to make that phone as much like you as possible. You feel what I'm saying? You want to customize it to the way you like it, as much as you can. You want to have the most options possible. Now, when you get your iPhone fresh out the box, it's not that customizable. Not at all. I mean, the most you could do is you could change the wallpapers on it. You could change the screensaver. You could change the picture that you got on your lock screen or whatever, but basically out the box, it's not that much stuff you could do to it. Now you could go to the app, go to the app store and buy some stuff here and there, but not that customizable. Now when you get your Android, when you get your Galaxy Nexus out the box, that's the reason, that's probably, that's what fuels a lot of the fire with the Android versus Apple discussion. It's customization. This Galaxy Nexus, I mean, there's no limit to the stuff you can do to it. I'm talking about keyboards and lock screens and home screens and, launchers and all that. This is the most customizable phone that's out right now, and I don't mean the Nexus, I mean Android. As far as Windows and BlackBerry and Apple iOS, when it comes to customization, the Nexus hands down. I mean, you could do so much stuff with this phone, especially if you get deep into it and you get into rooting your phone and all that. I mean, you could do anything you could do. Put it like this. Anything you could do with this iPhone, you could definitely do with the Nexus. But everything you could do with the Nexus, you can't do with the iPhone. All right, so let's just leave it like that. So when it comes to customization, Nexus hands down. Hands down. Next category, web browsing. Which one has the better web browsing experience? Now, when it comes to web browsing speed, I got to go with the Nexus. But, keep in mind, that's 4G. Now, even when we're on Wi-Fi, I've done a lot of tests. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I've been doing my own personal tests, for a minute, for weeks and weeks and weeks. When I'm outside in real world situations and I got to look up something online, I'll always pull out my Nexus before I pull out my iPhone. Always. The Nexus, it just runs smoother, it has a better web browsing experience, and this brings us back to what we were talking about with the screen and the size. When you pull up something on the iPhone, you got to keep in mind, let me see if I can pull up something real quick. All right, now, this is just a regular web page, right? But look how small it is. There's no way you can read this, no way. So what you're gonna find yourself doing is pinching the zoom, and then you're gonna be scrolling back and forth a lot. Or you're gonna be putting the phone in landscape mode, and you're gonna be holding the phone in landscape. Every time you use the internet, you're gonna have to go to landscape mode. Now let me pull up something on the Nexus. Pull up a quick web page. Now you can see this is just, I didn't even pinch the zoom yet. This is just, I just loaded up the web page. Let me pinch this one back out and let you see for yourself. You can see the difference in the words. Now we're talking about web browsing, the whole experience. Now this, of course, you can pinch the zoom. Of course, you can put it in landscape and rock like this also, but with the big screen, it just makes a huge difference when you're browsing on the web, especially if you gotta be reading, we're not just talking about looking at pictures. If you gotta be reading stuff, like I said in part 1 of the video, I get a lot of emails that have charts and graphs and spreadsheets in them. When I try to look at them from the iPhone, it's gonna be pinch to zoom all day, scroll back and forth. You gotta try to remember what was on the first section before you scroll. It's just annoying. The 3.5-inch screen is just not built for the best web browsing experience. So when it comes to web browsing, I'm going with the Galaxy Nexus. This huge 4.6-inch screen, it makes a big difference when you got to read some words online and you got to look at some graphs and charts and you want to look at some pictures. Trust me, it makes a big difference. So when it comes to web browsing experience, the whole overall experience, that speed and size and all that, I'm going with the Nexus. Next, multitasking. Now this is important. Multitasking is definitely important. Which one has the better multitasking experience? I'm gonna go with the Nexus. Okay, now when you're using multitasking on the iPhone, all you gotta do is double tap. As you can see, all the stuff I was rocking earlier is still there. So I could go straight to my calendar. I could double tap, go straight back to Shazam. I could double tap and go to wherever was open. But as you notice, you're only getting the icon of what was open. And if I wanna get rid of something, all the apps that was running, I have to long press on it. I have to individually click on each one. And you have to click that little minus sign. You have to literally touch on it. Now, there's an easy way to do that. You could just keep touching that same little corner right there, and it'll close them out. But if you miss, you're gonna miss. All right? It takes a while to do that, especially if you have 20 apps open at once. Now, let's take a look at multitasking on the Nexus. On the Nexus, just hit the little multitasking button. Not only does it show you everything that was open, but you have an actual picture of the page that you was using. So like when you look at the iPhone, it just shows you Shazam, it just shows you Google Maps photos, it shows you Google Plus. But if you look at this one, the Google Plus, it shows you that I was actually on my home screen of Google Plus. I could just swipe that off. Not only does it show you that I was looking at emails, but you can actually see the emails. So when it comes to multitasking, it's a better experience with the Nexus, not to mention when you want to get rid of stuff, all you got to do is swipe it. None of that looking for that little red button to press. No, you just swipe it right across. Okay, no matter how big your fingers is, you're going to be able to swipe. If you got big giant fingers and you got to keep trying to press that little button, trust me, when you got 20 apps open at once, it gets a little bit annoying. Is it a big deal? No, but my personal opinion when it comes to multitasking, I like it better on the Nexus. Way better. So multitasking, we're giving that to the Nexus. Next, gaming. Which phone is better for gaming? Well, that's kind of a no-brainer because regardless of, even though we all know that the Nexus has better resolution, so the game's gonna come out better looking, but we gotta talk about the size of the phone. You ever try playing Angry Birds on a 3.5-inch screen and then playing Angry Birds on a 4.6? I'm not even gonna do the whole demonstration and all that. Trust me, a 3.5-inch screen is not that great for gaming. Even when it comes to Temple Run and all of that, you can't beat the big screen. So, I know we keep going back to the size, but it ties into so many of these topics. So when it comes to gaming, I'm going with the Nexus. All the games are just easy to see. That's what it's all about, because when you're sitting in your chair and you're playing a game, do you want to be focusing in on a small screen or have a bigger screen with a lot more real estate on it so you could get more into the game? So when it comes to gaming, I'm going with the Galaxy Nexus. Next, apps. Which phone has better apps? Well, that's kind of up to you. A lot of these apps, they are on iOS, they are on Android, but they're a little bit different on each OS. Now, when it comes to apps that I use every day, because if you watch any of my videos at the end, I always say Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+, Instagram. When it comes to apps, to me, they work better on Android, and they work better on the Nexus, especially apps like Facebook. Now, I don't know if you ever use Apple's Facebook. Apple's Facebook is garbage, straight garbage. Their Twitter client is okay. We're talking about a stock one. The stock Twitter client, it's okay. The Google+, they did the update. That's the only one I like better is Google+. But when it comes to Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, even Instagram, now keep in mind, Android just got on Instagram, but even on Instagram, I like it better on Android. And let me show you why. Let me just pull up my Instagram real quick and I'll show you real quick. All right, let me just pull up a photo real quick or something and we'll see what it looks like. All right, now this is Instagram on the iPhone. All right, somebody got a picture of some curly fries or something. Look at it on the Nexus. It's just bigger, it's brighter. And trust me, the Instagram is like the new thing right now. That's the way everybody's on right now. But Instagram is all about pictures. So if something's all about pictures, and keep in mind, you can't pinch the zoom on either one. So if something's all about pictures and you got to look at the details for a picture, do you want to see it tiny or do you want to see it a little bit bigger where you get more detail? I'm going with the Nexus. Now, a lot of times with Instagram, people put up pictures and you want to pinch the zoom to get a better look at them. You just can't do it. So what happens is when I'm using my iPhone and I look at a picture, a lot of times if I want to see the picture a little bit better, I'm going to have to pull out my Nexus and look at the same picture on the Nexus, and you're getting the full effect of the picture. All right, so when it comes to apps, Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Instagram, I'm going with the Nexus. The only plus that I like better is Google+. The Google+ app looks better on iPhone, but we'll see how it looks when the Nexus gets the update. Right now, iPhone is killing it with the Google+. But overall, app-wise, I'm going with the iPhone. Next, accessories. Which one has more accessories? That's kind of a no-brainer. You've never seen any phone other than any phone out right now that has more cases and more accessories than the iPhone. The Nexus, yeah, we got a bunch of cases out and all of that, but no phone that I've seen yet has as many choices as the iPhone. If you don't believe me, go on Amazon, go on eBay, and just type in iPhone 4S cases and watch how many come up. I got a few I can show you right here. I got a couple on deck. I got this white one right here, if you've seen in the video. Plain white one, that's cool with the plush interior. But I also got the old school cell phone case. This one's kind of hot. I got the old school beeper case. And I'll just put the phone in real quick so you see what it looks like. The old school beeper case. For an old school dude like me, this is kind of hot. When it comes to accessories, trust me, the iPhone has the best accessory lineup out right now, okay? So accessories goes to the iPhone. And the last category, which is probably the most important category to me, I don't know about you, is the floss factor. And what do I mean by floss factor? That means when you're outside and you're on your phone, is somebody gonna come right next to you with a different phone and make your phone look old and cheap? You know what I'm saying? Are they gonna come when you're using your phone at the bar? Is somebody gonna pull out their phone? Now all of a sudden your phone just gotta fall back. Which one has the better floss factor? Well, that's kind of up to you. My personal opinion, I'm going with the Nexus. It's just bigger and brighter. It just looks heavy duty when I'm outside using it. You know, people just walk by, you could just see this big giant screen. It just looks nice. When it comes to the iPhone, pretty much everybody got an iPhone. Like when I'm in the airport or I'm in the mall or something, you can't go and see, you know, you're not looking special when you pull out an iPhone. You look like, you know, typical douchebag. Everybody got an iPhone. When I say douchebag, I mean that in a nice way, of course. But, you know, because I got an iPhone. But when you're pulling out your iPhone at the bar and you pull out your Nexus at the bar, which one are you going to get more love? I'm going with the Nexus. Not to mention it's more customizable, so when I pull it out, when I pop up on my Nexus, and I got my beautiful weather, you know, I got all the live animations, and I got my live wallpaper, and I got everything going on. When it comes to the floss factor, I'm going with the Nexus. All right? That's it. So overall, which phone is better in my opinion? If somebody said, okay, look, this is how I'm going to answer this question. If I had to go on a trip tomorrow and somebody said, look, you can only bring one phone with you. That phone you're going to have to use for Foursquare and Facebook and Twitter. You're also going to have to use that phone to watch your YouTube videos. You're going to have to check your email. You're going to take all your pictures and video. Anything you're going to have to do, you're going to have to do with that one phone. And you're going to be gone for a whole week. You got to take one phone. Which one would I take? Without a doubt, I'm taking the Nexus. All right, overall, the Nexus is just a better experience. You get more for your money. It's cheaper. It's, you know, the screen is better, has better resolution, more customizable. Yeah, you know, it hurts in the camera department, whatever. But overall, I would go with the Nexus over the iPhone. All right. It's your boy Floss. Shout out to everybody that follow me on Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+. Shout out to all the Google gangsters. I see y'all rocking that Facebook page. Shout out to everybody hitting me up on Voxer. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram. That's where we're at right now. I told you that's the new thing right now. So hit me up on Instagram, Flossy Carter, all right? Also, tomorrow morning, I'm going to make another vlog, and we're going to touch all the questions everybody been hitting me up about the Galaxy S3, the Evo, you know, the Evo 4G, LTE. All those questions we're going to get into tomorrow morning, all right? It's your boy Floss. I'm out. Deuces.